Yeah, we live. Shalom, everybody. Happy 23rd, 23. I was inspired by 23 for this last week and whatnot. So happy 23rd. I'm not sure how this is gonna look. So happy 23rd. I'm not sure how this is gonna look. Yeah, I got the what's the name? I got my phone right here. So it was playing on the USB. But yeah, welcome to the Banana Boat Mafia. Uh, welcome to the Banana Boat Mafia, right? It's like, why Banana Boat Mafia? And also in the description, I'm talking about sundown towns. Now, for people who have experienced me in chat rooms and have experienced me um, on the live streams or anything like that, I'm all about knowledge. It's not about me, not necessarily about the person, but it's about making sure that we get the story straight. And I think the best way to get the story straight is to know the story, know the stories that are out there. So some people may think that, oh, this is arrogant or something like that. No, I've just been around for a while and I've studied things and I've lived long enough to see history repeat itself. So Banana Boat Mafia, that's my way to engage. Not only the Black conscious community, but every other sector out here. Banana Boat Mafia. Banana Boat Mafia. Remember that. Sundown towns. I'm not sure if anyone knows what a sundown town is. If this is your first time hearing about a sundown town, y'all bless. I didn't know really about sundown towns until this year. And I've studied so much about American history, U.S. history, Black history, whatever you want to, however you want to label time and memorial, what's happened over time. However you want to name it, however you want to call it. Sundown towns. Wow. 6 p.m., huh? You don't let the sun go down on you, nigga. That's what they said, right? Don't let the sun go down on you. Wow. U.S. history. So when we get someone like Candace Owens that says that racism doesn't exist or didn't exist until Obama, Candace, you're either uninformed or you're misleading the people. It's either one, right? So Banana Boat Mafia, hit the like, subscribe. This broadcast was inspired by the number 23. Big time. My synchronicity kept giving me 23 here, 23 there in the last couple of days. So I said to myself, well, let me go ahead and get cracking here. Let me go ahead and get this thing started. Banana Boat Mafia. This is entertainment. I'm not sure how it may be viewed or whatever, but it's politics. All is politics. That's what I found. Earning my political science degree, I found that all is politics, and I did that later in life. Right? All is politics, from the streets to corporate America. All is politics. So when we approach this thing about sundown towns, and please look everywhere, high, low, about this information, because this is basically an evergreen topic. Sundown towns in America. It's an evergreen topic. That's where you had something like the Racial Integrity Act of 1924 being enacted, where They told the Indians you can't call yourself Indian anymore until the late 1960s, about 1968. That's when you could attempt to call yourself an Indian again, because U.S. history is very opaque, arbitrary, and ambiguous unless you take time to look at specific information. So sundown towns, that's a place that we could look even into reparations, right? Send this video to Tariq Nasheed. Although if you look back in my video history, I did call Tariq Nasheed a bitch. And there's one reason why I would say that. And I'm not going to say it here. However, dealing with politics, you have to be responsible. And Tariq, you know what you know, but you might not know what you don't know. So to completely, and I'm going to leave off where I started to, so to completely discount the idea of conspiracy theories is trash, that means that you're trash. Tariq, do a documentary on sundown towns. I mean, seriously, man, that's you'll see the value in it, because you're just here for the money. So you'll see the value in it immediately. Sundown towns all across America. That's American history. No one can change it. It happened. Thousands and thousands and thousands of cities across America, right? Thousands and thousands of cities across America that at 6 p.m. they would set off some type of alarm. I don't even know what the alarm sounds like. I don't even know. It could be It could be maybe a air raid. I don't know what the sound was, but at 6 p.m. they would have this speaker, and every city was different. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of cities across America. Let's put it in a time period. Shoot, let's take it back to Woodrow Wilson and the film Birth of a Nation, 1915, right? They had already got the Federal Reserve established in 1913 in December. And it wasn't even, they didn't even have all the members of Congress in session, right? So it's one of these things that just happens. It becomes law. We don't know if it's law. We're not sure, but it's there, blah, blah, blah. And then, kick the can down the road, right? With the Federal Reserve, okay? And so 1915, you get the KKK pushing Birth of a Nation. It's previewed in the White House. Let's put that into context, right? So the Black Panther movie comes out, premieres in movie theaters all across America, right? Influential, very impactful. A lot of people left the movie theater feeling some kind of way about their status in America. Now, go back in time to 1915. You have a film being played at the nation's capital. President Woodrow Wilson saying, yep, this is what we want. Silent film, too. No sound in there. However, I did read within the last few months a critique from Siskel and Ebert, or maybe not both of them, but definitely from those film critics. And I'm kind of dating myself because people who are familiar with Siskel and Ebert, this is before the internet. So, we had TV Guide. We're looking at what's going on the television. That's just what it was, right? So Cisco and Ebert did a wonderful write-up on the movie, the silent film, Birth of a Nation. And so people can understand what and who the KKK were and even are today, is that it's gangsters. It's gangsters. They're just gangsters. No holds barred. Think of the movie Swordfish with John Travolta. Think of that movie when you think about the KKK doing what we got to do. Think about the average ethno gangbanger that you know today. They're just doing what they got to do. Taking orders. There's a chain of command. There's bylaws. There's structure. Who made that? People in gangs. And I'm not trying to take no dollars out of nobody's pocket. I'm not trying to take a chicken off of anybody's table, right? This is U.S. history. So the KKK were gangsters, gangster gang. No holds barred. Anything that they needed to do to get and gain power has everything to do with the information written on the different placards when you go and do a tour of Ellis Island. They're coming here to take land away from people who were pre-existing here. You ain't gonna tell me that you took me across the Atlantic Ocean on a banana boat. You're not gonna tell me that you did that. That the Mid-Atlantic Passage, sure, leave the story the way it is. However, I know my family was here. Thank you, Dane Calloway, for helping to structure the path through which I was going to find out who I am, where I came from. Banana Boat Mafia. Sundown towns. It was 6 p.m. that they said, get out of our city. We don't want you here. Now think about, could you own real estate in any of these places? So if they're knocking up the real estate prices in these particular cities and people, quote unquote, so-called of color, couldn't live in those cities, you couldn't compete. And this is a progression over decades and decades. After 1915, going into the 1920s, you got the Great Depression, 1930s. Birth certificates don't come to us till 1933. There were no birth certificates before that. Births were logged in Bibles and other analog devices. So things are happening. A lot is changing. But with this white supremacy, it's all about divide and conquer. And today we can look back and see that, man, it worked. Because if you let one class or one segment of the class rise up above another segment, it creates rivalry, competition. And they're sitting back controlling all the money. And then when I say they, when you understand, Executive Order 6026, which is a series of executive orders that were issued by FDR, right? The longest reigning president ever. After him, they had to bring in I believe it was 22nd Amendment, 21st, 22nd Amendment, don't quote me. Presidential term limits. And this guy's issuing executive orders. One of those executive orders was to, I'm going to say, abrogate the Constitution. So they basically said, okay, we're going to take the Republic off of the gold standard, so-called, and go to a different currency or go to a different type of money, fiat. But it happened. Now, there was a congressman who seen that. His name was Trafficant. He was like, no. I see you. That's illegal. You can't do that. Now, FDR was facing a hanging, literally, execution. Though everybody that was in to this go off the gold standard, go away from the Constitution, he was facing death. This treasonous to do what FDR did, right? And so then they issued, after Executive Order 6026, and that was May 1933. In June 1933, House Joint Resolution 192, which is the escape hatch for people into the sovereignty movement, for people that have dabbled in A for V. HJR 192 is evidence of a fact that when they create a trap, they also create an exit. Black is not the end. Black is the beginning. So I don't call myself black. Never call yourself black. If you called yourself black or Negro, that's why they kicked you out the town. Like, this man doesn't, or this individual, man, woman, child, does not have a sound mind. They don't read English. They cannot read this language that came from the language of their ancestors. So whenever you hear somebody speaking English real good, they got a good accent, sounds good and things like that, don't you be saying, oh, you think you better than me and stuff like that. That's just showing who you are. And it took me a long time to figure that out. It took me a long time to figure that out because I had, it wasn't like, oh, I was getting attacked or I felt, threatened or anything by the way people would respond to my accent. But I would even feel a certain way towards people who spoke in a certain way during my development as I was growing up. So I can relate. However, let's get to 2022, right? So-called 2022. Even though there is a condition that 586 years were added to the calendar date that we know today. So yeah, I'm going all over the place, but I want to bring it back to this. The KKK was a gang and still is a gang today. Just like the gangs, the Italians, mafias, all these characters, they are all operating basically the same way. And through the level of violence and coercion and things like that, and similar to the hippie movement, they're a counterculture. But when you really take a step back and then you say, well, J.P. Morgan had a barge recently, right? They had a whole barge full of containers and stuff like that, full of cocaine. So what really is the economy based off, brothers and sisters? What are you involved in? What are you engaged in? Who did this to us, right? So at 6 p.m., we need to get out of town. Fine, I'm out. I'll leave the town at 6 p.m. Because really, at some point, we do have to escalate and then see, okay, well, what is it that you want to really do? This is the Banana Boat Mafia. Episode 1, Sundown Town. We need to talk about it. Don't call yourself black. In 2023, I wonder what will happen if there's no more black people in 2023. I wonder what would happen. How would the world change if we mentally exterminated black in 2023? What would the world be like? That's my question. If we exterminated the legal term black in 2023, what would the world look like? I wish my skills was up a little bit. I put some clips in of Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, well, you ain't if you don't vote for me, well, you ain't black. And then put another clip in of Dr. Joe Biden saying, we need the Constitution. Without the Constitution, we ain't got. Right, that's Dr. Joe Biden. Without the Constitution, we ain't got. 14th Amendment. It allows for construction or things that can be construed. And that does involve color of law. And that's ambiguous ASF. Goodness. That color of law situation is ambiguous ASF. And if you follow that 100 years later, from 1866 to 1865, 1866, 100 years later, you got 1965, 1966. That's 100 years. For those of us out here who are thinking above the intelligence level of a corn chip, that's 100-year war, folks. And I'm saying this because I love you. The young folks out there, I apologize. We have failed you. But it's okay, because you are all the answers. Your lives are all the answers. I can't wait for you to come aboard the Banana Boat Mafia. We're gonna bring people on. We're gonna jump you in to the gang. Banana Boat Mafia. You're gonna get jumped into the gang. All right. And we're gonna start adding members to the Banana Boat Mafia. That's my ambitions. I was inspired by the number 23 and the 23 minutes. So this is a great time for me to end. Please like, subscribe, share this for people who are interested in U.S. history, Black history, sundown towns. If you've never heard about them, I'm inspired by the knowledge I recently gained. So thank you for checking me out, and please share this. Please like, please subscribe. I'm a real one. REAL, not REEL. On temps réel. And that's it, folks. Like I said, please like, subscribe. This is Banana Boat Mafia. My name is Dawood Ali, the South Sage podcaster. Grand Raisins.